Election workers across the River Valley tell us they've seen a steady stream of voters making their way to the polls all day. We're live here at the Ben Guerin Park Community Safe Room, where at this location alone, more than 600 ballots have been cast. Now, fortunately, we've not had any reports of any major issues across the River Valley when it comes to voters. And for Republicans, there are two state house races that are on the ballot. Now, State House District 51 covers Southeast Fort Smith and Barling. Jeff Burks is challenging incumbent Representative Cindy Crawford on the Republican ticket. Also up for grabs is House District 24, which covers parts of Crawford and Washington counties. Brad Hall and Ty Bates are the two candidates on the Republican ballot who are seeking to replace Representative Charlotte Fight, who is not seeking re-election. Now, the winners of those races will face Democrat challengers in November. And here in Fort Smith and across Sebastian County, you can vote at any of the 32 voting centers that are open today. Now, that is, of course, as long as you're a registered voter here in Sebastian County. And tonight at 6, we'll hear from some voters who we just talked to who tell us why they say they love to vote and rarely miss an election. Live in Fort Smith, Brett Rains, 4029 News.
All right, Brett, thank you. Well, voters in Bentonville came in waves earlier today. This was at Catalyst Church, one of more than 30 polling locations in Benton County. And one voter, he talked about why he votes.
It is a privilege to vote in this country. And there's a lot of places around the world you don't get that privilege. Please vote, because men and women are on the line standing up for you.
Now, many voters told us they want to encourage others to do their civic duty and make their voices heard.
In Oklahoma, the preferential primaries are the only item on the ballot today. Polls open at 7 a.m. and they close at 7 p.m. tonight.
And voters in Benton County are going to be choosing the county's next top prosecutor.
4029's Chip Scarborough has been monitoring that race for us. He joins us live from our newsroom.
Allison and Brandon, longtime Benton County prosecuting attorney Nathan Smith stepped away from the job last year to work for Walmart's legal department. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders appointed Joshua Robinson to finish out Smith's term. Today, voters will decide if they want Sarah Phillips or Brian Sexton to be their next prosecuting attorney in Benton County. Phillips works for Walmart now, but used to work in the Benton County Prosecuting Attorney Office. Sexton is Deputy Prosecuting Attorney now and has been with Benton County for 17 years. Voters in Benton County have just over 2 hours left to make their voices heard today in this race and others. The county telling me a little under 14,000 people have gone to the polls so far today. You add in all the people who have voted absentee and early, and that number's at about 29,000. We'll keep on top of it for you. Live in the newsroom, Chip Scarborough, 4029 News.
In Centerton, voters are deciding on a sales tax extension that would help build a new community center.
And we continue our team coverage with 4029's Katani Gooch at Centerton City Hall. Katani.
With the extension of the current 1% sales tax, a $26 million, 50,000 square foot community center would be made possible. Now, the city has had several meetings about the proposed extension leading up to today. And at these meetings, city leaders heard from both sides of the issue, and some neighbors say there is a demand for a center in the area. The building would also be located along Keller Road and include at least one Olympic-sized pool, basketball and pickleball courts, and a fitness center. This extension would also help refinance bonds and expand the police department. The mayor says if it is approved, it would not impact the city's current sales tax rate. Now, coming up at 6, here are the next steps if the extension is approved today. Live in Centerton, Katani Gooch, 4029 News.
Now to this, the state is deciding on 2 Arkansas Supreme Court races, the first being Chief Justice.
Yeah, 4 candidates are running for the position. They are Justice Barbara Womack Webb, former State Rep Jay Martin, Justice Karen Baker, and Justice Rhonda Wood.
A candidate needs 50% plus 1 vote to win. If there isn't a winner, we could see a runoff. The winner in the Chief Justice race will replace Justice Dan Kemp, who told us he's retiring at the end of his term. The second race is the Supreme Court position 2 between Courtney Hudson and Carlton Jones.
And several communities in our area have ballot questions today. Voters in Greenland will decide on a pair of land annexations and Sunday alcohol sales. So the mayor says these land annexations could increase the size of the city by 20%. And
voters in Bella Vista will decide on a tax increase to support police pensions. The increase would go toward pension plans for police officers and firefighters. If approved, the mayor said the average tax increase is estimated to be about $20 a year.
And people living in the service area of the Avoca Fire and Rescue Department, they're going to be voting on a possible due increase. So if passed, everyone living in the Avoca Fire District will have their annual dues increased from $50 to $125. Fire officials say the dues haven't increased in decades, but the cost of equipping the department has gone up.
From local races to the ballot questions, we have more election coverage on 4029tv.com, or you can find it on the 4029 News app. It's free. It's the biggest day of the primary calendar season. We've been telling you it's Super Tuesday, and voters in more than a dozen states have been casting their ballots for their presidential nominee and beyond.
We have Christopher Salas in our Washington Bureau now with some of the key things to watch tonight.
Brandon, Allison, Super Tuesdays normally make or break for a presidential candidate, but President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are already looking ahead to the general election, hoping for a resounding victory here, giving them momentum heading into that potential presidential rematch. Meanwhile, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley just looking to remain competitive on this Super Tuesday. It's Super Tuesday, which means from coast to coast, millions of voters are heading to the polls in what could be a decisive day for the presidential primaries. Lines outside polling sites in Texas with one of the biggest delegate hauls, and in Colorado, drivers waiting to drop off their ballots. All told, 16 states will head to the polls today, with results coming in hour by hour. The first states to post results on the Republican side will be Virginia and Vermont at 7 p.m. The results here will be closely scrutinized because it could be a long night for former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley if she performs poorly out of the gate in what are considered more moderate states. Here's what's at stake. On the Republican side, about 35%, or 854 of the 2,429 total delegates, are up for grabs. For Democrats, it's about 36%, or 1,420 out of 3,934 delegates. Following tonight, neither President Joe Biden nor former President Donald Trump will be able to officially secure their party's nominations, even if they win all of today's contests. But decisive victories could help them put the primaries in the rearview mirror and focus on a potential general election rematch. And we're not just watching the presidential races tonight. There's also some key down-ballot contests, notably in California, a primary race to succeed the late Senator Dianne Feinstein. And we've also got a governor's race in North Carolina, which could give us a glimpse of which direction that swing state is leaning come November. That's going to be another key thing to watch tonight. What happens in some of these swing states like North Carolina, Virginia, and Minnesota? And does that offer any insight into which party may have the advantage heading into the 2024 general elections? In Washington, I'm Christopher Salas, 4029 News.